Hi everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of Queerspace TV, presented by me, Peter, and
Lelani.
And this series is an opportunity for us to connect with the Queerspace community, showcase amazing artists that we know. As a lot of you know already, Queerspace was a monthly warehouse nightlife party that showcased all the darker sides of the queer LGBTQ POC experience. So that's like noise, thrash, metal, techno, post-punk, anything that gets you excited.
Pretty much anything and everything.
We are just really excited to start this interview series with someone very special, a very special guest, and her name is Geneva Jacuzzi. Everyone say welcome.
Hello.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. You've been doing a lot during the pandemic, as we've seen. So how has it been just like working as an artist? What are some of like the crazy shifts in working that you've had to make?
Well, it's kind of been interesting because I'm sort of an introvert anyways, and I don't know, like the whole live performance thing is sort of what I do, but it's really the hardest thing for me, going live. I'm actually very self-conscious, and I kind of think better when I'm alone. So in a way, it's given me some time to really develop some concepts and projects and things like that. And, you know, I have a few people that are in my like quarantine bubble that are also creative, and so we just thought it would be a good idea or a good time to just kind of start these secret projects, you know, like on the DL, which has kind of been really fun because it feels kind of mischievous and like, you know, like the world is crumbling and we're making art, you know. So we're like, right now I'm working on this kind of like short film with JJ Stratford.
Oh, sick.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, well, it's like a teleplay, but it's got music and dialogue and these characters, and we've been developing them over the whole thing. And it kind of like, in a way, pulls in a lot of what's going on, but in like a very high concept, just sort of like high goof, silly video art kind of way. So we're just, it's not like we're making fun of it, but you know, we're trying to have a good time. Which I don't think a lot of people are right now. So I think it's like really important to like seize every moment. Like free time, you can make art. If you know, or if you don't feel like it, a lot of people don't really feel like making art right now.
Yeah, a lot of people have taken up new skills like baking or, you know, just self-care. Have you done anything new? Like, do you have any new skills since the pandemic started, or have you just refocused your energy towards these projects and just kind of waiting till things go back to normal?
Well, I haven't taken up baking, but I did buy a lot of weird food at the beginning of this.
Like what?
Okay, so like, you know, of course I got like all caught up in the panic of like everyone going shopping.
Right.
Part of me is just kind of like secretly, you know, like I take it in, it's an event, you know, I get really bored, you know, and I'm obsessed, like I was raised in like a Doomsday cult, so this is sort of like in my DNA to be ready for it.
Yeah. So, oh my God, so many questions come
But
Yeah.
the worst thing I bought was this like, okay, this, I think I got it on Amazon though, it was like, it was like a jumbo pack of powdered coconut milk.
God. How big was it?
That's like bomb
There's
shelter
like enough
status.
powdered coconut milk to last me for maybe like 10 years.
Wow.
Well,
I fucked up.
if it ever gets there, I know I'm coming to your house.
Well, 'cause in my mind, I'm like, coconut milk, it's got fat, you can live off of it, you know, you can just add water, it's shelf stable.
Yeah, that's definitely like bomb shelter proof. Totally.
Also, like, you could be like on a keto diet and still do it or something.
Yeah, you're so
like, I'm not gonna fuck with like the beans and rice shit.
That's like the hippest, like Doomsday, like prep meal. Like you're like, and I'm on the ketogenic diet, so this works for me.
Yeah. Totally.
So, though, like, would you say that your upbringing sort of gave you some sort of interesting skill set to sort of cope with a time like this?
Yeah,
yeah?
definitely. I mean, I think people were like all around me freaking out, and I'm just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I was ready for this. Like, I was completely like bred for Armageddon. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So just, like,
Do you and do you keep in contact with any of those people from back then?
well, I kind of got excommunicated from that whole scene. So, but when the whole thing started, I did hear from family members because it's like an emergency situation,
Right.
so you're allowed to contact people when, because they all think Armageddon's coming.
Yeah, like were they all
Now's
kind
the time.
Right, like are they like, this is what we've been talking about your whole life?
Geneva, you know the prophecy. It's coming. It's here. You know, it's not too late to come back.
That's so like cool though, that you have such an interesting like background like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, I also grew up in a conservative background, and it makes me want to ask, like, was music and performance and like the type of art you're into, was that something that was escapism during that time for you, or what was the transition between that and you becoming a performer?
Well, I think that, like, when I left that whole life, it was so traumatic that I couldn't even process it.
Sure.
Like, I completely, like, dissociated the whole situation. And I think that when I sort of, like, found music or, like, the creative process, it was just kind of, like, I don't know. I think it started to work itself out of me through that, and I wasn't even conscious of it. But then, like, it's weird looking back at some of the music and stuff that I was working on. I'm like, oh my God, like that was that coming out of me. And at the time, I didn't know. I just like had this compulsion to make music like nonstop. Like I had to keep making music, and I think that I was just like coping with it through it.
Yeah.
Just kind of cool. It's like way better than therapy or something. Like
Absolutely.
I don't know.
I have
More
to.
interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we both can agree that performance is extremely therapeutic.
cheaper.
Yeah, that's true. You don't need insurance.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of your like earlier work, congratulations on the Lamaze reissue.
Thank you.
Geneva's first official album, although you were putting out like EPs and stuff before that, right? Or
I always put out like these kind of demo albums that I would sell at shows.
Oh, cool.
And, or online and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But they were always unofficial. And Lamaze was the first like official vinyl pressing.
Right.
It came out in like 2010. But when they originally pressed it, they only made a few hundred copies, and it just kind of like disappeared. And I don't even have a copy of it. I don't know. It just kind of seemed like the right time to put. It's like it was a decade went by, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's just put it out again."
yeah, and you know, obviously, like a lot of people really love that album, and a lot of people, since you've announced the reissue, have been really excited about.
It's been like selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, like. So is it on the same label that you originally put it out, or?
No, it's on Mexican Summer.
Okay, what was the label you first put it out?
Vinyl International. It was like
cool.
a small boutique kind of. It was my friend's label.
Oh,
so-
yeah,
It was
cool.
cool.
Recently, you just put out, or also Patriarchy put out a remix that you did, and it was so fire.
Thank
really,
you.
really great. What was the process behind that?
Well, let me think. Well, it was fun because like Ashley, I kind of couldn't believe that we hadn't really collaborated yet.
Right. Yeah.
And she hit me up, and I was like, oh, this is perfect because it's like during the pandemic, we have time. And I started working with my boyfriend on music, Josh DaCosta, who's also got a cool band called Come On.
Yeah.
And so he and I have been working on these other remixes together, and we have a really good process going because we live together, and I don't know, it's just kind of flowed. So I was like, hey, do you want to work on this thing with me? And it just like, we banged it out in like 2 days or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
it
I
was
love it
Sounds
when
amazing.
things click like that.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
just totally
like,
clicked.
just go, go, go.
Yeah, it sounded really good. It was
Nice.
fun.
obviously, like your sound has kind of like changed from Lamaze to Technophilia, which was your most recent album. And so, like, what was like your music making process like at the beginning? Were you using analog, or was it mostly software, or what kind of stuff?
Okay, Lamaze was all like 4-track and 8-track, and a couple like one track. I mean, it was just like all tape cassette, so the sound was very analog. And I think by the time I did Technophilia, it was like using GarageBand or something like that.
Totally.
I never got into Pro Tools or anything, just because I think because I liked having that limitation of like a few tracks and like not a gazillion plugins. Because when you have too many options, you get lost in all of the different things you can do. So GarageBand worked out because I could just track it. I basically did the exact same thing I did with, you know, an 8-track or 4-track with the computer. I would just do all the like effects, you know, with pedals or whatever, and then just track it as is and just mix it, and maybe I'd add like a little bit of EQ or something, or I would EQ it in GarageBand, but that's it. But even just having that like not being on tape does change it. But I think it's like more where I was at mentally that changed the sound. You know, I think I was going through like some weird dark shit at the time. So Technophilia is a lot darker than Lamaze, you know. So I just definitely kind of hit this like interesting place in my psyche, and I wanted to really like go in, you know.
Totally.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot of darkness in that. There's a ton of esoteric themes and eccentric lyrics. You have a song called Cannibal Babies too, which I love. It also strikes me that you love blood. So
I mean, you know, it's the life force. It's like vampires drink it. Like you said, you can't take it too seriously, otherwise it just kind of gets bad.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's like something I love so much about your live performances is that like there's so many I don't know if like mishaps is the right word, but because of your large scale installations, like there's a lot that's subject to chaos, if you will. And so you don't take yourself too seriously. It's amazing, you know?
Well, it's like, it's kind of like you have this like giant thing you built, and you know, you could leave like the tape edges and all the crud on it, and you know, I kind of like the transparency of that because it isn't like I spent, even though I would sometimes spend too long on some of that shit, but like to make it look professional is, I don't know, it was just like 2 more days of work, and I'm like, oh, let's just leave all the little scrappies in there and make it fun. At least it's kind of accessible in a weird way.
Yeah.
I kind of like seeing the tape and the cardboard, you know, because like everything's so polished now, you know, like mass-produced, polished, and it's just kind of fun to see something that's rough, you know, and kind of like organic.
That rawness of it.
Yeah, like a child made it in like a, you know, like.
And the fact that like you're making it yourself is like really inspiring, because it's amazing to see like what the end result turns out to be, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like I always am like, you know, like whipping myself like, why do I do all this shit? Because it's like I come up with the ideas way too last minute, and like sometimes there's like no one around to do it. I'm like, fine, I'll just do it, you know?
Yeah.
Or like sometimes I'd have you come over and like gut VHS tapes or something.
Oh
or like
that's
we've
so
like
fun.
I've had you do so much random braiding plastic, you know?
Oh my God. I've actually like, we've done so many things like that that I like repress them all.
No, it's like too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I just, whenever I go to Geneva's house, I'm like, don't ask any questions. Just fucking, let's do this.
I remember, I think I taught you how to braid.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, because you didn't know how to
plastic.
braid, because I had like
that's
bought
cute.
these like purchased these like giant rolls of tarp, and I was like slicing them up into slivers, and I'm like, here, Peter, braid the tarp, braid the tarp. Yeah. And you're like, I don't know how to braid. And I was like, okay, you put the left one over the right. It was so cute.
Aw.
Now we are going to have a commercial break from the Mystics Corner. This is the psychic portion of Queerspace TV, bringing you the 2021 forecast that you all need and deserve. So we'll be back in a second.
See you soon.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the Mystics Corner, the psychic portion of Queerspace TV. I'm Miss Celeste X. Many of you may know me as an actress, model, performance artist, singer, songwriter, and well, as of today, bitch, I'm a psychic. And I will be reading your dirty fucking tarot for 2021. Wait, do you feel that? Oh my God, the spirits, they're coming in me right now. And they're telling me to start this fucking episode, so let's do it. Okay, everybody, welcome to the tarot portion. I know 2021 has been a really hard fucking year, and well, I'm here to give you a little bit of guidance for the time being. We have the Five of Pentacles, we have the Ace of Wands, we have the Page of Wands, we have the Page of Swords, and we have the Ten of Wands. When we have Pentacles, I like to read them not in a capitalistic way where it's wealth, but I like to read it as your surroundings. How are you aiding to your growth and health? Health is wealth. So if we look at it like that, there looks like it's a 5, so it looks like there's going to be a lot of hard times coming ahead. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I know that's already really hard right now, but I think it's obvious to say that we are living in an unprecedented time. And with that being said, 5 is the number of transition, it's the Hierophant, and we are in a Hierophant year. And it basically comes down to, who do you worship right now? Who do you give your power to in relationships? Who do you react to emotionally? Who do you put yourself around? What triggers are in your surroundings right now? And don't be afraid to ask for help. The Ace of Wands traditionally is supposed to be like a new opportunity. Well, I like to look at it as something that is already available to you. The aces symbolize something new. It's a new pattern for you to follow. The wands are inner to outer. They're of the magician, and the magician is anything from creativity to sexuality to spirituality, something you believe, something we can get from in to out, and we can create and make magic with that. The Page of Wands is a lot of new beginnings. This is in the suits, the pages are students. So like I was saying with the ace, you know, don't think about too much the mistakes that you've already made, but do something differently. And in that, it could be starting a new business, something where it's like you are creating something that you didn't think you would be in right now, but you are getting to that point of like, all right, I'm a student to myself and my creativity, and I'm going to let it show me the way. The Page of Swords. These are these are student energies. And when you're a student, you don't particularly know. And you may be very self-conscious about what you're doing. And I just want to say that that is extremely normal. And you shouldn't let that dictate your progress or hold you back in ways. I think there's a hard self-critic when we start to begin something, because we compare ourselves to so many other people. The Pages reminds us that it is okay to be new at something. And with the Swords, it's an energy of logic. This is learning. This is placing a boundaries. And I'm gonna end it with the 10 of Wands. And like I said, the wands are creation. The old is over. Anything that you keep trying to push, any idea of who you think you are, or what you think you're doing with your creative endeavors, your career, really try and remember that when there is this really strong resistance, or there's this push where you're like, I can't do this, this isn't working, and you actually feel like shit doing it, and not in a good way. Where with the Pages, you may feel like shit and embarrassed that you're doing something new, but at least it feels aligned. I'm gonna do one more card just because I love every one of you and I want you guys to be so prepared for this year, and that is the Lovers. Oh baby, oh yes. The spirits are coming in, and I think that means there's going to be a lot of sex coming for this year. Yes, there is. There's going to be a lot of things coming because 2022 is actually the lover's year, and we're in preparation for that. So if something is really, really making you feel like shit, ditch it. Ditch it, bitch, because the lovers are here to show you how to love yourself, how to love other people, and do what you gotta do to feel aligned with you. Am I right? Okay, I'm right.
All right, so that was my 2021 guidance for you all in my tarot reading. And I'm Psychic Celeste, and you're watching Queerspace TV, baby, yeah!
I'm interested in like if there's a show that sticks out to you that was like the most chaotic. I don't want to say the worst because it could also be the best, but like, is there one that sticks out in your mind as like, holy shit?
Okay. Well, I have like multiple shows where I've severely hurt myself, like gashed myself and kept performing while like bleeding and all of that. But I wouldn't say those were the worst. Okay. All right. There's so many. I can't even. Okay. I would. The one that stands out as like the biggest shit show would be when I went to Colombia, South America, alone, which is insane.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just whatever.
Could be dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so dangerous. So I was like in Bogota, and I like fly in, and the promoter picks me up, and I had this like. I had like spoken with him before. I had this crazy play that I wanted to stage as part of the show, and I think it was like Kuzbo and the Indelible Fantasies of Time Stop Revolt or something. That was like the title of it.
Of the show?
Of the show. And it was like this crazy. It was like this crazy. I was Kuzbo, obviously. It was like this really cool art play that I wrote with my friend Casey Simpson, and I had this vision and I sent it over to the promoter. I'm like, I want to put on this play, we need to build this set, just have it ready, and I gave him instructions and all that stuff. And so anyways, we get there, and this is like Colombia, you know what I mean? And so we get there, and then I have these like two girls that were supposed to be playing these like children that were working in this factory where they do everything backwards. And I think like as the night progressed, like the girls started getting really like coked out or fucked up or something. Like everyone was like really fucked up. And like by the time I like got on stage, it was just like all hell broke loose, you know, and like everything went to shit. And then like I had this, oh my God, this is like another long story. And then I like had to do some like costume change thing on stage, but I like grabbed the wrong like part of my costume. Really? And I wasn't wearing underwear, and I completely and like my entire Pinocha, like And here's the thing: is I'm usually very bushy, and I had shaved it the one time in my entire life. Shaved it before that for some other long story. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. But like, I had a shaved,
Sure? I'm
completely
interested in that
shaved,
other
which
story.
I've never done before. Rip off the costume in Bogota, full Pinocha, shaved, everything on stage. The guy, the promoter, is so pissed, he like leaves, right?
Oh my God.
And he's my only contact.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So like,
That's horrifying.
The show ends, everyone's like out of their mind, and like people are like freaking out, you know, because of the whole thing. And it was just crazy. I get backstage, and I had been robbed while I was on stage, so my phone was gone.
No.
Yeah, like everything, you know.
That is
Fortunately,
fucked
I left
up.
my. I know, too. This is crazy. Fortunately, I left my passport like at the hotel room, but I didn't know how to get to the hotel room, and it was like night. It was like a Saturday night in Bogota or Friday night, and I ended up having to like make friends with someone. I think I made friends with like the DJ or whatever, and I was like, hey, so I'm stranded. Can you help me?
Yeah.
So he
That is high stress.
So
he had to like help me find the hotel. I didn't know the name of it or anything, and we like figured it out. And then he had to help me. I didn't know my flight number because all that information was with the promoter. So, or I had it on my phone and I didn't have my phone anymore or whatever. So we had to like go to the airport and like go to all these different terminals and like just
see which one your flight was on.
I didn't know what flight I was supposed to get on. And in the meantime, I'm like, look insane, you know, like.
Oh my god! So did the promoter like ever talk to you again?
Never.
Like, oh really?
Never.
Oh my god!
But I was so
Really?
pissed at him.
Of course.
Yeah,
I tried
absolutely.
calling him and like, oh,
Absolutely.
it was a nightmare. Like, I was so pissed. I was like, how could you just leave me?
Absolutely. That's
But whatever,
crazy.
you know, like, that was so stupid for me to go there alone.
So, like,
like what the hell was
What
I
was?
thinking?
Yeah. Well, these are things we do as younger artists.
I was
that
like, it'll be fine.
yeah, it'll work itself out.
I mean, thank God that DJ was there and was such an angel to help you out of that jam. That is scary, though.
I'm pretty
That's
like
crazy.
street smart, like, because I've traveled a lot. Like, I've probably been to like over 30 countries alone or something. So like,
Wow.
like my brain like scans the room and it's like, who can help me? Who can help
Yeah.
me? You. You know?
Yeah, no, it's really
I
great
zeroed
to
in on
know
that
how to
guy.
navigate out of those scary
Yeah.
situations.
Yeah, because it's like you know, like they were telling me, like the people who live there, like you do not want to be alone in this city. Like
Yeah.
you will get kidnapped.
Yeah.
Like, you will get kidnapped.
I'm curious as to like what the audience reaction was when you like showed your pee. Where is everyone like, or were they
It was like, I feel like when it happened, because it was funny because like the title was like Kuzbo and the indelible fantasies of time stop revolt, and when that happened, it was like time had slowed down. It was like this moment where I realized that I was, because I'm pretty like, I don't show my body, you know, like
Right.
I do a lot of crazy shit, but I'm not really like a nude person. Nothing against it. I just never felt the need to do it.
Yeah.
But it happened, and it was just like, it was almost like 45 minutes had gone by where I was like,
Wow.
and it felt like everyone was like frozen in the audience. They were just all like, and then I kind of was just like, I somehow kind of, oh, I know what I did.
Yeah.
I stood there as if
what's
it
up?
were intentional.
That's what you have to do.
I let it go on for like longer. I
You
was
gotta
like,
fake it till you make it.
yeah,
you
exactly. I
know?
was like, this is intentional. you
It's
know?
art.
Oh my god.
It's art.
That's a crazy one.
The whole point is for me to present something or to connect or to just, you know, express or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, I think it took me a few years to sort of get that to where now when I have technical difficulties, like that show we did at New Year's
Yeah.
when the like
That
guy
was the
just like
cra-
unplugged the music.
He's like, fuck this. Like, what was
I just
that?
was kind of, I don't know, some guy walked by and just like unplugged the whole show.
Was that the show at the Standard?
Standard,
Oh,
yeah. And it was so funny too because at the point that he unplugged it, we were all so wrapped up that it was so difficult for anyone to try to
Like,
get it.
because we're all like tied into
Yeah.
the thing, you know? But like,
Yeah.
even when that happened, I was just like, whatever, you know, like who cares? Like,
Because it's all about it's all about making, you know, being able to have fun but make your music and like it be authentic, and you can't get, like you guys were saying, get too wrapped up with that ego side of perfectionism. That's something that I personally am also trying to like
Yeah.
transcend and get better with, but you know, it'll happen.
well, I just met Dale Bosio, the singer of Missing
Yeah.
Persons,
Yeah.
like a few days ago on a video
Oh, that's
shoot.
sick.
And we were shooting like at her house. And then like she told me, or she gave me words of wisdom from Frank Zappa, which is essentially that. It's like, if you're not having a good time, it's not worth doing. You know,
Boom.
if you're not enjoying yourself, it's not going to be worth
Yeah.
it. in the
That's
long run.
beautiful. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
You know?
And also like those moments that we see as like mistakes are just like learning opportunities. Like for example, when I look back at some videos of me performing, like when I'm performing, I'm like, oh my God, this is going totally wrong. But you look at it back and you're like, oh, whoa, there's something
That was
really new
amazing.
there.
Yeah, that was so cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so happy I did that.
Yeah.
And
you
how
know?
do I recreate that now?
Yeah,
It's hard,
and
you
the
know?
audience doesn't know when you fuck up too.
Yeah,
They
they
never
don't.
know
They
unless you
don't.
get angry about it.
Something I really love about like that performance in Mocha in particular is like, well, let me just say this. I assume you're a fan of infomercials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like, I just like, what's your relationship with them? Do you have a favorite infomercial? Stuff that.
Well, I
really
love
stands out?
infomercials. They're
Yeah,
amazing.
Me too.
They're so fun to watch because
know.
it's just straightforward. You see the product and how it works. There's no
No bullshit.
There's no bullshit. I'm like, there's so many good ones that I like can't even.
I have one that I wanted to show you that I think you would really like. Have you heard of the Hawaii chair?
No.
Oh my God. Here. Let's see if we can all like. Oh yeah.
Out of your workout, the
see it?
Hawaii chair.
You know, Tamara, the Hawaii chair wasn't designed
my
just for
God.
home. I mean, after all, for some of us,
That
at
is
least 40
genius.
hours of our week is spent sitting behind a desk at the
Like,
office.
has it one on the side
So
with
to
her
see
arms
what
up?
office workers think of the Hawaii chair, we sent Aaron Lee to work.
You know, that would work.
Hi, I'm Erin Lee with Perfect USA, and today we've brought the Hawaii chair to a very busy work environment. Let's get some first-time reactions.
Are they still for
Oh my
sale?
gosh, this is amazing.
Great on my
This
abs.
is like pretty
I
hot.
can really feel this working.
Hawaii chair while answering phones, using the computer, balancing books, or filing paperwork.
Oh, I love it.
You can hardly call this work. With the Hawaii chair, it takes the work out of your workday.
If you can sit, you can
You
get
have to
fit.
get one of those for the next
Hawaii
Queerspace
Merry
interview.
Christmas, Geneva.
We could all do our interviews like that.
The chick is like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
The Hawaii chair. Oh, because of the hula. Oh, I
They're like hula hooing or whatever.
Yeah, like as you've like transitioned from doing like shows at more underground venues and you've been doing high art institutions, like what's your like reaction to the different audiences? Like how does that feel for you as a performer?
Well, I think having done shows all over the world, like you get a feel for all different types of audiences.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, for example, you'll do a show in like Germany, and people will just be sitting and staring at you, and you're like, oh, they hated it, and someone will come up to the show after you after the show and be like, that was the best performance I've ever seen, and you're like, I would have had no idea. So I just kind of learned that like different people have a different way of reacting.
Yeah.
You know, it's always more fun when people are dancing, but
For sure.
I kind of don't care. You know, it's like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, and I think you have like a nice way of like when you are in the high art institutions, you have a way of like kind of like breaking the anxiety wall that people have when they're watching performance. Because something that I think about with performance art especially is like people watching performance and you're just like, oh, and like you can't cough, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
You know? But you know, once you start throwing the toilet paper rolls at them.
Yeah, exactly. When the TP comes out. I love throwing toilet paper at the audience. It's so fun, you know, especially like at a museum. Like that's the best. I think it's like usually when when we perform, like it just gets kind of fun at the end.
Yeah,
and people
absolutely.
get into it. And at first, it's always weird and awkward, and then by the end, like everyone's having a good time. And
Yeah.
for me, that's what I want. You know, like aside from any concept, you know, I just want enjoyment, you know, throughout the process.
Definitely.
And I love getting people like to dance, and I just love it when people come up to after the show and are like, oh my God, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
and
amazing.
that makes me happy. I'm like,
Yeah.
good. That's like what I want to do on this planet.
Yeah.
It's just like make people have fun, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like it's kind of the only fun part of the show for me. Just like setting up all that shit is
Yeah.
so intense.
Yeah, it must be nice to like throw everything away afterwards. Because imagine if you try to save everything.
Oh my God, no, I love throwing it all away.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite part.
It's like you're
actually.
shedding, you know,
It's like
that
in
great
the dumpster,
experience.
that
but,
whole
like,
show in
yeah.
the dumpster.
Like when you first started doing performances the way you do, did you have a lot of people like, oh, you made such a mess, like this and that?
Oh my God, I've trashed so many venues. It's crazy. But I think that a lot of the time people aren't that pissed about it because it's usually a fun show.
Yeah,
so they're
totally.
Kind of like
They
not
can't
so
get
bummed about
mad.
it. But I've definitely trashed a lot of places for sure.
Have you ever had someone get like really mad at you about it? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been like charged.
Really?
Did you have to pay that fine?
Threatened and charged. Like,
Did you ever have to pay to like?
no.
That's good.
Thank God.
How did you, like, this might be helpful to younger people actually, how did you mitigate like the negotiation of not paying it? You're just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it, or?
Well, I think it was like just an angry person threatening, and it just kind of never happened. But I think one of the worst, I just remembered, I did a show on another rooftop. It's the Ace Hotel, and I threw.
Oh, I know this.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Yeah, but come on.
I threw a fan like off the rooftop, and I thought it was gonna land on another roof, because there were rooftops. And I didn't know. Until like, this one's kind of amazing because I didn't know until way later. I think I went to a party and someone, like, I introduced myself. Someone was like, oh, are you Geneva Jacuzzi? And I was like, yes. He's like, huh, well, I work at the Ace Hotel, and did you know that you're banned from that place? I'm like, really? Why? And they're like, well, apparently, like, the fan hit like $100,000 or $50,000 Mercedes or something like that, and completely just shattered it.
Whoa.
And I guess like the hotel paid for it, or they had insurance or something. I don't know, but it was kind of cool that I didn't even know about it. Like, they didn't even contact me.
What are some of your inspirations that are not so obvious? Like,
I mean, there's so many.
Right.
Well, I've always said my favorite band is Devo, and Devo, I'm a total devotee in that way. Kraftwerk, Chrome. I'm a huge Chrome fan. All that like San Francisco subterranean late '70s like Tuxedo Moon and all of that kind of the Residents. YMO, Cabaret Voltaire, Throbbing Gristle, Crystal Cozy, Fad Gadget, like Legendary Pink Dots, like all that stuff, and Depeche Mode.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Just like all this music that's kind of like minimal in a way. When that really inspired me, I kind of got exposed to it all around the same time. And prior to that, I was only listening to like radio music, and I just didn't know that you could make music that was so clear and simple, and it seemed attainable to me. Like, I was like, oh, I could do that. You know? So, but I think a lot of the things that inspired me to art music, like it's just like authors, like weird shit, like Philip K. Dick. I'm a huge Dick fan, and I'm a huge fan of Dick, and Lovecraft.
Same.
I'm really into Freud and Lacan and all that shit,
Cool.
And then like all the weird, like cool avant artists like Duchamp and, like Artaud and, just kind of like Cocteau. Like I really like these artists that do multiple things, make films, make art, and make, because I kind of relate to that.
Yeah.
And like that movement, that whole surrealist art movement was like a lot of artists were doing that. So like the Dada shit was like pretty cool. I think the thing that, when I hear sometimes people come up to me and they say like, oh, you're the reason why I make music, and you inspired me to do this, and you inspired me to do that. And for me, that's like, I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to heaven or whatever. We're good. Job done, I don't know.
All right, guys, so we're going to do a quick answer segment, and this one is based off of your latest album, Technophilia. We wanted to put together something fun for you to do, so we're going to do a would you rather, this or that kind of segment.
Okay. Yes.
So let's start with the first one, and these are all references to your song titles. Fight cannibal babies or fight baby zombies?
Oh, I would rather fight baby zombies.
I think I would too, because they're babies and they're crawling as opposed to
Babies that are trying to eat me,
Like-
I'd be too scared.
Would you rather anamorph into a swan or anamorph into a squid?
Oh my god. Squid.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're kind of immortal in a weird way. Well, yeah, I want to be at the bottom of the ocean. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. I have a feeling they're like hyper intelligent too. So.
Yeah, they're electric. They glow. They communicate. They cannibalize. You know, they're cool.
Geneva really knows her stuff in regards to squids.
Yeah, I know a lot about squid. I'm very like Lovecraft, you know, Cthulhu.
Would you rather make a god or make out with God?
I would much rather make out with a god.
Yes. But imagine the power you would have if you made a god. Although it would be pretty hot to make out with one.
Well, if I was able to make a god, I'd already be a god. So
It's true.
why would I want another one to fuck with my shit? You know what I mean?
But what
it's
if-
always a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's like having kids. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
But if you made one, you could make him however he looks, and then you can make out with him.
Oh, you're so smart.
Yes, the best of both
That's why I
worlds.
can't make a god.
Why, yeah.
That's why I can only
You're
make out with a
welcome.
god. I don't even have the intelligence to make a god.
All right, would you rather live on a deserted island or live in one room? The room can have anything you want in
It
it.
could be any color. Get it?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Oh, definitely a deserted island.
Yeah?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why.
This is a obscure song reference. Oh, this isn't off Technophilia, actually. Would you rather sleep like a bed or lie like a couch?
Ooh.
Do you know that's...
Yeah,
obviously-
I
You
know.
wrote it?
I mean, wait, what? Okay, I think I would sleep like a bed for sure. Or, yeah. But with like a memory foam mattress topper.
Yeah, Tempur-Pedic.
Tempur-Pedic.
I feel it.
The sleep number.
And lastly, would you rather have a Hawaii chair or a Snuggie?
I got a Hawaii chair.
Yeah, obviously.
Can I have both? I want both.
Yeah.
A Snuggie
Wearing a
in a
Snuggie.
Hawaii chair.
That would be epic.
What if it got like kind of like tied around the like motor?
Yeah, I
and you,
know.
like-
That'd be the craziest death ever.
If 2020
Not inspired.
was a girlfriend of yours, what advice would you give her?
Invest in Bitcoin.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no. That's good.
That's a good one, actually. Seriously. Like-
GameStop. Get it now.
Oh, yeah.
Buy it up.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the best advice
Yeah.
for anyone, I
Yeah.
think.
Totally.
Sorry.
No, the cryptocurrency really is the future. I think everyone should get into that.
Yeah, I got in and I got out, and now I'm kicking myself because I'd have like
Yeah.
so much money right now.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
On
Well, it's a tough.
that note.
Yeah. Well, on that note, you know,
Such a bummer.
no, it's amazing. I think we'll end it on a good note then. What is pushing you ahead into 21, and what is holding you back?
I do think we are entering the age of Aquarius in a way, you know, and it's scary because I think everything is going to be different, and that is also very exciting. But I think I just need to let go of like everything I thought I knew about the way the world
Yeah.
works, you know, and myself. Just kind of be open to letting it happen and forcing myself to kind of like see that this is an opportunity for all of us to have like a different kind of world or something. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, no, totally. 1,000%.
I believe that though. I think that change is scary, and I think there's going to be a lot of change, and there's always good art when things get crazy. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the global mood is progress. So
yeah,
that's-
like the best art came after World Wars, and this is kind of a weird modern type World War situation.
Absolutely.
So I see that as an opportunity for creativity, always.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
I completely agree, and I think that's a really amazing note to end this episode. Geneva, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Of course.
Thank you.
Everyone check out Geneva Jacuzzi at Geneva X Jacuzzi on Instagram.
Yeah.
GenevaJacuzzi.com. And yeah, thank you so much, and we'll see you back in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.